He said, "I ain't scared of prison," but when those cell doors closed, he never came out again just 3 days after being sentenced for the cold-blooded murder of Giulio Foolio. Two of the main suspects are dead, and no, this ain't no freak accident. This smells like a setup. The Florida Department of Corrections is calling it unfortunate and mad altercations, but insiders they're calling it state-sanctioned revenge union to tell us the same killers hot-blooded a high-profile execution, ho bragged online. Posted about it, and Laud in the courtroom just mysteriously dropped dead into separate facilities with no video now arning and no explanation. No to meet things off, and here's the wild part: Tony of them was found with a note tucked in his sock. Another last seen screaming at a guard, "Y'all setting me up, I know who it this is." Now the questions are rappelling up: who wanted them silenced? Was Folio's murder just the beginning of a deeper war? Because what's happening behind those prison walls ain't just a seats. Execution dressed up in paperwork. Let's open this casket and see what they're trying to bury. The moment that courtroom door slammed shut behind them, something changed, not just in the air, not just in their faces, but in the way Florida justice system moved quite fast. No headlines, no press conferences, just silence followed by two cold bodies. Let's rewind just a few days ago. 5 suspects were convicted directly or indirectly for the orchestrated assassination of rapper Giulio Foolio down in a Tampa hotel parking lot after celebrating his 26th birthday. The case was explosive: gang affiliation, surveillance videos, Instagram live streams, lyrics turned to evidence, and text messages sent minutes after the shooting saying, "My thirst is finally quenched." It was gruesome, personal, and allegedly premeditated, but nobody expected what happened next to suspects dead in prison within days of sentencing. And the crazy part, no one's giving a straight answer. One was reportedly found in his cell unresponsive. Another was involved in what DOC officials are recalling a routine inmate incident, but sources inside Losi in Florida State Prison tell a very different story, according to one anonymous corrections officer who spoke through a burner account on Reddit. That wasn't a random fight. They knew who he was the moment he walked in. He begged for segregation. They said no, then dead before count. But wait, whoa, were these suspects? Let's break that down. First, the 5 individuals charged in Folio's murder were Isaiah Chance, Shagath Wright, Alicia Drews, and the Murphy brothers, Rashad and Devin, all under 30, one of them pregnant, most of them connected to Jacksonville's deadliest street collectives, ATK 1200 and AC's top killers. The crime straight up maliciously execution. On June 3rd, Foolio was followed across Tampa from birthday pool party to club to hotel. Bitwo cars, 5 people, and a digital trail of surveillance phone logs and GPS pinstring cameras caught them packing duffel bags full of rifles. Licensed plateretters clocked their every turn. Air records tied them to a rental just 1 mile from the murder scene, and in themed Foolio was ambushed with 31 bullets and 3 others were wounded. By that time, the dust settled. All 5 suspects were behind bars except for Devin Murphy. Woe went on the run for 4 months before being caught hiding in plain sight in Jacksonville. That's where things start getting dark. After sentencing, tensions rose fast. Sean Gathite, only 18, was sentenced to life without parole. Rashid Murphy, described as the most volatile in court, tried to fire his attorney, represent himself, and even hinted at an insanity plea. His behavior spiraled. "They trying to kill me in here, y'all don't see it," Rashad allegedly screamed in court days before his transfer. He wasn't lying. 2 days after sentencing, Sean Gathite was found dead in his cell. Guards claimed he had been in an altercation earlier that day. No video, no witnesses, no statement from fellow inmates. And 2 days after that, Rashid Murphy also gone. No bruises, no defensive wounds, just one bloodstained sock with what appeared to be a note folded inside. Authorities refused to confirm Visick even existed. So how does this happen? How do 2 gang-affiliated profile murder suspects who just embarrassed the entire state of Florida with one of the most publicized executions of the year die within a week off being sentenced? Let's talk about the environment first. Florida State Prison isn't just a place you serve time, it's a place where justice has its own rules. Ask anyone who's been through the system. There's the law on paper, and then there's the law inside the yard. And when you kill a man like Theo, a rapper who had loyalties, powerful enemies, and hundreds of thousands of loyal followers, you better Believe somebody's going to comb looking for blood. One source, a former inmate turned prison advocate, put it like this: it ain't about right or wrong, it's about who you pissed off before you got caught. Foolio, he pissed off a lot of people, but so did the ones who killed him. Once that sentence drops, you're no longer protected by due process, you're just prey. Now here's where things twist. One of the officers assigned to escort Rashad between court hearings allegedly requested a transfer after the inmates. F1 asked why, allegedly said, "I told him not to put them in that pod. That wasn't protective custody, that was a setup." Still, the Florida doc hasn't launched any formal investigation publicly. In fact, everything around this case feels like it's being strategically ignored. No mainstream press, no press conference, no official medical report, just a footnote inmate found. Unresponsive, really event. The timeline doesn't make sense. Shandi, first the one who barely spoke in court, the one whose phone was tied to surveillance footage, but never confirmed to have pulled the trigger. He was young, scared, according to one inmate. Leaked voice memo: Shorty was crying the first night he asked to be moved. Next day, a lights out. Then Rashad, the loud one, Theon, who told the judge he didn't trust this lawyer, the one who filed 110 letters complaining of mail blocks, no X. Discovery calls buying restricted, and now he's gone to, and just when it seemed like the case couldn't get any more disturbing, rumors began to swirl, not from journalists, not from the court, but from TikTok. A now-deleted video posted by an alleged co-relative claimed that there was no emergency response for 17 minutes. That gold button was pressed. Why's Nobo Dimov sound familiar? Because this isn't first time Florida's correction system has been accused of delayed response deaths. Back in 2012, Darren Rainey was boiled alive in a scalding hot shower, and no one was charged for years, no indictment. So what does that tell us when two of Folio's convicted killers die in custody days apart? No cameras, no guards held accountable, no internal statement. We aren't watching justice, we're watching cleanup, and it gets worse because there's one more person who's very much alive. Alicia Andrews, pregnant, 21, and alleged life-flipping. The one suspect everyone knew to arrest him, the one who sat through hearings quietly, head down, visibly trembling in a borrowed sweater. At first, folks thought she was just tagging long, caught up in the hype of a crew she didn't fully understand, but now she might be the state's newest weapon and possibly the next body to drop. Source inside the Hillsborough County Detention Facility claim Alicia has been placed in protective medical isolation on paper, that's for the baby, but behind those steel doors, she's reportedly been meeting with federal investigators and has already handed over sensitive voice recordings taken days before Folio's murder. Wait, recordings? Yeah, turns out Alicia I have been recording conversations between the Murphy brothers and Isaiah Chance, who allegedly laid out the entire plan like it was a Call of Duty mission. One clip now leaked throughout an anonymous drop on a Reddit forum features a male voice saying, "I think it's sweet. Now wait till hell of that party. That's where we move clip gone sing tonight." And Alicia, you can hear her in the background saying, "Y'all serious?" That one phrase might save her life or get her killed, because if Alicia is flipping and if she's already testified in a sealed proper agreement, then someone inside the system already knows she's talking, and that makes her a target not just in prison but possibly out here. To one Kolikita memo that listed Alicia as a moderate terrorist cooperator, but when reporters ask at Doc for clarification, dead silence. Let's be real, pregnant or not, that girl's in danger. And that brings us to the next disturbing twist: their retaliation threats. Since news broke about Sean and Rashad's sudden deaths, there's been a wave of retaliation chatter online. Folio's fans, rival crews, even random YouTube street detectives are digging into phone logs, courtroom sketches, anything that might reveal more about who helped to orchestrate the setup, or worse, who's covering it up. There's an theory gaining serious traction. Was this a hit from inside? Think about it. Rashad Murphy was reportedly yelling just 2 hours before his death that hadn't feel safe. His request for protective custody was denied. No camera escort the incident, no inmates have spoken, and no official DOC press statement has addressed the 2 deaths. And then there's Alicia suddenly banging between facilities under the excuse of prenatal care. It's not care, it's containment. And what's wild is that even Folio's family isn't buying the official story. His cousin posted a now-viral Instagram story just hours after the second death, saying, "This ain't karma, this cover up, they killing them or they talk. If Rashad gone, who got next?" So now let's ask the hard question: what These suspects know that Madetham dangerous even after conviction hears. What we found, according to court exhibits never released to the public but allegedly leaked by a dismissed defense paralegal, the group wasn't just planning Foolio's murder. The clout they were reportedly paid led that sink in rumors have been swirling about a cash bounty placed on Foolio's head by rival affiliates out of Atlanta, some even linked to club promoters and dirty security contractors who had beef with rappers. Entourage multiple fake accounts on X, formerly Twitter, have claimed the amount was $40,000, no names, no proof, but the streets are talking, and that brings motive because of Sean and Rashad were paid to execute Ethan. That makes this a murder for hire case. Anyone with knowledge of their real bankroll becomes a liability, which is exactly why Alicia flipping is so dangerous. She's not just this scared witness, she's a walking evidence vault. In fact, everything around this case feels like it's being strategically ignored. No mainstream press, no press conference, no official medical report, just a footnote inmate found unresponsive. Really, even the timeline doesn't make sense. Sean died first. Theon, who barely spoke in court, the one whose phone was tied to surveillance footage, never confirmed to have pulled the trigger. He was young, scared. According to one inmate's leaked voice memo, Shorty was crying the first night, asked to be moved next day. Oh, lights out. Then Rashad the loud one, the one who told the judge he didn't trust Hislewire, the one who filed 110 letters complaining of mail blocks, no access to discovery calls, buying restricted, and now he's gone to. And just when it seemed like the case couldn't get any more disturbing, rumors began to swirl, not from journalists, not from the court, but from TikTok. A now-deleted video posted by an alleged close relative claimed that there was no emergency response for 17 minutes. That gold button was pressed twice. No dime sound familiar, because this isn't first time Florida's correction system has been accused of delayed response deaths. Back in 2012, Darren Rainey was boiled alive in a scalding hot shower, and no one was charged for years, no indictment. So what does that tell us when two of Foolio's convicted killers die in custody days apart? No cameras, no guards held accountable, no internal statement. We aren't watching justice, we're watching cleanup. And it gets worse because there's one more person who's very much alive. Alicia Drew's pregnant, 21, and alleged life flipping. One suspect everyone knew to arrest him, the one who sat through hearings quietly, head down, visibly trembling in a borrowed sweater. At first folks thought she was just tagging along, caught up in the hype of a crew she didn't fully understand, but now she might be the state's newest weapon and possibly the next body to drop. Source inside the Hillsborough County Detention Facility claim Alicia has been placed in protective medical isolation on paper, that's for the baby, but behind those steel doors. She's reportedly been meeting with federal investigators and has already handed over sensitive voice recordings taken days before Foolio's murder. Wait, recordings? Yeah, turns out Alicia might have been recording conversations between the Murphy brothers. Isaiah Chance, who allegedly out the entire plan like it was a Call of Duty mission. One clip now leaked throughout an anonymous drop on a Reddit forum features a male voice saying, "I think it's sweet, wait till he leave that party, that's where we move." Clip going tonight, and Alicia, you can hear her in the background saying, "Y'all serious?" That one phrase might save her life or get her killed, because if Alicia flipping and if she's already testified in a sealed proper agreement, then someone inside the system already knows she's talking, and that makes her a target not just in prison but possibly out here. To one co-leaked a memo that listed Alicia as a moderate recuperator, but when reporters asked that for clarification, dead silence. Let's be real, pregnant or not, that girl's in danger. And that brings us to the next disturbing twist, the retaliation threat. Since news broke about Sean and Rashad's sudden deaths, there's been a wave of retaliation chatter online. Foolio's fans, rival crews, even random YouTube street detectives are digging into phone logs, courtroom sketches, anything that might reveal more about what helped to orchestrate the setup, or who's covering it up. There's a theory gaining serious traction. Was this a hit from inside? Think about it. Rashad Murphy was reportedly yelling just 2 hours before his death that he didn't feel safe. His request for protective custody was denied. No cameras caught the incident. No inmates have spoken, and new official doc press statement has addressed the 2 deaths. And then there's Alicia suddenly being moved between facilities under the excuse of prenatal care. It's not care, it's containment. What's wild is that even Folio's family isn't buying the official story. His cousin posted a now viral Instagram story just hours after Theskin's death, saying this ain't karma, this cover up, they killing them before they talk if Rashad gone who. Not next, Sono, let's ask the hard question. What did these suspects know that made them dangerous even after conviction? Here's what we found according to court exhibits never released to the public but allegedly leaked by a dismissed defense paralegal. Group wasn't just planning Folio's murder for clout, they were reportedly paid. Let that sink in. Rumors have been swirling about a cash bounty placed on Folio's head by rival affiliates out of Atlanta, some even linked to club promoters and dirty security contractors who had beef with rappers. Entourage multiple fake accounts on X, formerly Twitter, have claimed the amount was $40,000. No names, no proof, but the streets are talking, and that brings motive because of Sean and Rashad were paid to execute it then. That makes this a murder for hire case, and anyone with knowledge of the real bankroll becomes a liability, which is exactly why Alicia Flipping is so dangerous. She's not just a scared witness, she's a walking evidence vault, because this case was never just about Folio. It was never just about 5 reckless shooters pulling off a hot-hated hit. It was orchestrated, finance covered, and now someone's trying to erase the witnesses before the story unravels. That includes Alicia, that included Sean, that absolutely included Rashad, and if the next name drops, Zay's probably sleeping with one eye open. Now let's go full circle. Remember that sock found in Rashad's cell, the one with the full detonate, according to an anonymous staffer who viewed the scene before the warden arrived. That note said, "If I die, it wasn't me, it was payback." Alicia knows, tell her don't trust nobody in green, a reference to co-uniforms. You know, we're here, so ask yourself this: what happens when a Florida prison system already accused of cover-ups, violence, and retaliation gets handed a case with internet tension, rap beef, federal heat, and a pregnant witness that could tank off a city's underground economy? They go silent, they lock doors, and they praise public moves on. But this time, we were not moving on, because this isn't just rural drama anymore. This is a full-blown death row conspiracy, and it's unraveling in real time. And just when we thought it was done, we received one final leak from an anonymous email address, labelladfuels@protonmail. On the attached file, a single audio clip of voice says, "You think killing him going to bring balance? It ain't balance, it's blood." And the minute she talks, for real, done, untraceable, undeniable, and no public. So now the world's watching, and it's no longer about who pulled the trigger, it's about who paid for the bullets and who's next on the hit list. Beckhouse, as of tonight, Alicia's baby isn't just the child, it's the only thing keeping her alive. So now what are we supposed to just sit back and believe this was all coincidence? To men dead before their appeals, even filed a pregnant girl locked away like Stevens, and a club promoter vanishing into thin air while the paperwork gets loose. Now something stinks, and it's coming from inside system, because if this was really justice, why are the quietest ones the only ones surviving? And if Alicia is not lying, then who exactly paid for the hit? Who cleaned the cameras? Who's paying for these prison transfers, the sealed documents, the 2 for -R guard rotations, and most importantly, how long until she silenced? Y'all already know this jury isn't finished, not even closet. There are names we still haven't heard, footage that's still unreleased, bank transfers with no sender, and a baby on the way that might be born into the middle of a murder conspiracy. So drop a comment right now. Do you believe this was an inside job, or was it all karma catching up with killers? Either way, buckle up, because the truth isn't done leaking. Hit that like button if you want part to subscribe. You're ready for names they don't want you to hear, in turn those notifications on, because the next drop might just blow the light all the way off. We're not exposing drama, we're exposing cover-ups, and trust Methire watching.